Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the WordsrTough podcast. My name is Jose Rodriguez, and I'm here with
David Diokendo,
and we are discussing UFC 266 and also some fights that we just recently passed.
Before we start, you know how people talk about the band Gorillaz?
Yeah.
And they call it the Gorillaz when it's not, there's no the in the title.
Yeah.
You tend to say the words are tough when it's just words are tough.
Yeah, it's just when I'm saying it in the sentence.
Yeah,
it's the podcast.
The words are tough podcast. I get it.
Yeah. So there is no the in the words are tough.
Yeah,
podcast.
Because I had a friend that typed in the words are tough podcast and nothing popped up. I was like, no, just take away the part. But yeah, we're gonna just focus mostly just on fights, past fights and upcoming fights. And I just noticed, at least for me, this like reoccurring thing of fighters not wanting to retire or stay retired, or like there's been like Holyfield fought, and last time he fought I was like in middle school or like freshman in high school last time he fought.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's very hard for, I guess, people who are at the top of the mountain to come to grips with themselves not being able to do what they love.
Yeah,
I guess, you know.
And was he, like you said, 58 before?
Evander Holyfield fought Vitor Belfort this weekend, and he was clocking in at 58 years old.
Clocking in at 58. Who allowed that? It was like the Triller Fight Club people. I don't even know. These promoters just come and go.
Well, they found a loophole because now they can not go through the commission if it's not a, I guess like a sanctioned fight. It's just a exhibition. So it's 2-round fights. I think max is like 8 rounds. So there's like a bit of like a loophole there. Yep, and then they don't have to even drug test. They don't have to do anything.
No drug test. Lucky them.
So you got TRT Vitor coming in.
Maybe not TRT. Maybe just full on horse. Horse steroids.
Horse dewormer and all that.
Yeah, there's that. I mean, I saw a post from a friend about horse dewormer, and I'm like, there's something here. And I looked it up. I'm like, oh, people think this is like a good option to like consume to like kill COVID or something like that. And don't do that. It'll sterilize you. Or do your thing and sterilize yourself. I don't know. Like I hear it. Don't consume, because it's like a gel kind of thing.
It's kind of poetic though, because it's like the reason why people aren't taking the vaccine is because they think this vaccine will sterilize them. But then they're gonna take the worm that's gonna definitely sterilize them.
Proof positive, gonna sterilize you. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
But the next, I guess you could talk past then future. I guess that Vitor Evander fight I saw not live. I never watched these fights live. Honestly, like it's like one of those things where like you notice, oh yeah, there's this fight happening, or I think it's like a what if kind of thing, almost like a Marvel thing, like what if. So I saw the poster initially, like, oh, Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz and like Vitor versus Holyfield, and I viewed it as like, oh, this is like a cool like hypothetical fan poster someone put together. Like, yeah, that would be a cool fight to watch. And then like a week later, I see like, spoiler alert, Vitor TKOs Holyfield, and I'm like, oh, that fight actually happens. Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, you know what? Originally, it was supposed to be Oscar De La Hoya versus Vitor.
Right.
And then like 2 weeks ago, Oscar got COVID. And he got COVID.
that we both did air quotes if you're listening. He got COVID. Yeah, right. Sure.
That's why Holyfield jumped in, and then you had the tragic result.
I mean, it's this weird thing. Like, yeah, good for you, but like, I kind of, I don't want to say the word sorry, but it's like, you kind of. Do you think it tarnishes the history or Holyfield's legacy or his record in any way by taking a fight at 58 years old? Because I mean, people forget this. Muhammad Ali did something similar where he fought like some similar exhibition fights after he retired. This episode is sponsored by Nbox, a modern mailing center designed to meet the security needs of our time, whether it's shopping for our favorite products or paying monthly bills, statistics show a transition to online convenience. It's quick and simple, which is why we love it. Unfortunately, it's created a new kind of criminal that seeks to steal your identity or take package right from your porch. As a listener, you can enjoy $5 off the lifetime of your subscription to an Nbox package plan when you enter tough words without spaces at checkout. Visit www.nboxdelivers.com to learn more.
Awesome. I love Nbox. Check out their website below, and you can check out all their services, their service area, and definitely love using their services. And for our next sponsor, we have Premier Rank Marketing. They can help you out if you have a business, whether it's selling stuff online or you have a brick and mortar location, restaurants, gyms. The company's helped so many people during the pandemic grow their online presence. So if you need any help from social media to Facebook targeting campaigns, Google, LinkedIn, and all the other, even TikTok, they do TikTok ads. Just reach out to Premier Rank Marketing and let them know that WordsrTough sent you, and they'll hook you up with a huge discount. Our third sponsor here, we have Worldwide Solutions, located in Clifton. They do taxes, travel, and insurance. Any type of business needs you have, they can even give you a good direction to go if you need some payroll services, things like that. And definitely check them out. Their info's right below. And our fourth sponsor is Rick's Barbershop in Garfield, New Jersey. If you have a important date coming up, you're going to a wedding, things like that, you're going to be photographed, definitely check them out. They're the most precise barbers in the area, and they'll definitely hook you up if you tell them WordsrTough sent you. Jose and David just mention those names, and they'll be like, no problem, right away. We'll hook you up. We just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, and back to the show. Yeah, I think it doesn't tarnish his record, but it does like boost Vitor's now because he's got a win over Holyfield on paper.
Yeah, I mean an exhibition fight, but it felt like Holyfield was I mean, I'm not in their brain, but just looking at body language and just how people react, it felt like Holyfield, or seemed like Holyfield kind of went in there or started fighting like it was an exhibition, and Vitor went in there like, oh, I'm actually gonna try to fight you.
Yeah, Vitor.
It looked very different. Two very different fighters
trying to take his head off.
Yeah, like Holyfield went, okay, let's have a sparring match. Get paid. And Vitor's like, I'm gonna get paid and knock you out. I'm gonna do both. But he didn't knock him out. He got a TKO. He knocked him down 3 consecutive times, or I think the third time he didn't actually technically get knocked down. They just stopped the fight.
Yeah, they just stopped it. Vitor is the kind of guy, though, that he would be like, yeah, we won't knock each other down, and he'll come in there and take you out.
He's like that douchebag in like jiu-jitsu schools where it's like, let's go slow, we'll just roll, like we'll flow roll, and then he just like chokes you out and or heel hooks you immediately.
Yeah,
that kind of guy.
Yeah, definitely. And I can say for myself, like the Tito Ortiz fight, I don't know what it is, but like, he is kind of some of the reasons why I was interested in MMA when I was young. He was like kind of like they were pushing him really hard in the UFC.
Right.
So he kind of was in my early part, but I just don't like him anymore, and I was so happy.
I'm in the same boat.
I was so happy when I saw the result on Saturday night.
It's the weirdest thing as a kid, middle school or high school, like you hear Tito Ortiz is like world champion. I believe he's Mexican or Mexican.
I think he's
something
Mexican-American,
else.
yeah.
And I was like proud, like, oh look, this Mexican-American guy, Hispanic, Latino, fill in the blank, and I'm like felt proud. And as the years progressed, call me fickle, but I'm like, the more I see him fight, the less I like him. Now I'm like, can you stop? And I won't say I was happy to see him get knocked out because it was pretty bad. Even Anderson wasn't even happy knocking him out. But I was just like, stop fighting. Like, stop not stop embarrassing yourself, but it's just, I don't know. Like, I've trained in Muay Thai for 2 years, but it's not like, oh yeah, I trained Muay Thai and I can go fight Muay Thai. It's like, I'm gonna get destroyed. Like, I think maybe Tito like train in boxing for a little bit, and then like, oh, I can do a boxing match, and then you can tell like it just looked awkward.
Yeah, you know what? I knew he was gonna get knocked out like that, and I was waiting for it because he's talked a lot of shit, and then he took that fight against, I think it was Karma. Remember he took that fight against Liddell?
The third fight.
Yeah, the third fight. That it was just like, why are you fighting Chuck Liddell? And so it was kind of like karma for him, I think. And just by the way, you know, little Tito fun fact, he is half Mexican and quarter French and quarter Portuguese.
Oh.
His mother's French and Portuguese, and his father's Mexican.
Oh, cool. I mean,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just felt like Tito had that coming for years. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like this sort of bittersweet feeling. Like, I feel that sense of satisfaction. Like, okay, this guy lost. Maybe I shouldn't feel good about that, but at the same time, I know, like, you know, he's gonna 100% by this point. Definitely has like precursor of, you know, concussion issues. 100%.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm human, so I feel sympathy or empathy towards people. Like, no matter how much I dislike a person professionally, I don't know him personally, but professionally, I don't want to see anyone like be a vegetable, you know.
Yeah, I feel, you know who I feel like that a lot? Nate Diaz.
Correct.
It's very, very apparent. But I feel like there's a line.
And Nick Diaz.
When you're a fighter, and I think once you pass that line, like, you know you passed it, and now it's just like, now I just got to make as much money for my family's legacy, because I'm going to be, eventually I'm going to hit that brick wall, and I'm not even going to be there to physically know, you know, what's going to happen and things like that, you know, because they're just going to, you know, unfortunately, it's a sad thing, you know, like, they're just going to, like, kind of lose control. Like, I could see a little bit with Diego Sanchez that happening, you know, like.
I showed that video of Diego Sanchez training, in quotes, with his former, I think there's former trainer, I forgot his name. Even if I knew his name, I probably wouldn't put his name out there anyway.
Yeah.
And he was hanging upside down and just getting bitch slapped and punched. And I showed it to my wife, and she's like, "What is this?
Just the fact
BDSM thing?"
Yeah. Just the fact that he would allow someone to do that to him is like, you know,
you're not thinking right.
There's some like weak spots.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, with that being said, I'm glad to see Nick Diaz is back.
Yeah,
it's kind of a weird transition.
That's the segue.
But the thing the thing about him is he took a lot of time off. You know, unlike Nate, like, you know, you can notice some things of like kind of his train of thought is like all over the place, but he doesn't have the physical, like how you could hear Nate like slurring his words, things like that. You know, like,
you know what's odd is I heard the same critique, but you see like when he fought in the Ultimate Fighter, and now his slurred speech has always been a thing.
It's always been, yeah. He's always had a kind of like a speech,
a lisp, speech impediment of sorts. So people are talking about, oh look, he gets punched in the head too many times. Like, and I'm like thinking like he's always kind of spoke that way.
I think it's why it makes it look so much worse now. You know?
Yeah,
'cause he already had it, and it just like added a little bit.
But with Nick Diaz, it's one of those things that he took, similar to George St. Pierre, where they took like 5 years off, 6 years off.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, he's fighting Robbie Lawler, who he's fought. It's like a nostalgic fight. Who's fought like maybe like 15 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
18 years ago. I was still in high school, so that's been some time ago. I mean, who do you think? We're going straight to predictions. Who do you think will win that fight?
I think it's gonna be Nick
Again?
Yeah.
You think it's gonna be like a 3-round?
It's a 5-round fight.
It's a 5-round fight.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at
Non-title
that.
5-round fight.
They really don't want Robbie Lawler to win. Then if it was 3 rounds, I'd be like, okay, Robbie Lawler kind of has a chance. 5 rounds, yeah. I'm already.
He's gonna get.
If I was betting, I'll put money into Nick Diaz.
Yeah, 4th round, Nick Diaz, TKO.
Yeah,
I think.
The thing is that when the one fight where I'm like, oh wow, Nick Diaz doesn't give a fuck, was when he fought Anderson Silva. And this is when Anderson Silva was like still Anderson Silva. I mean, Anderson Silva was still Anderson Silva, but like when he was still like had that sort of aura around him, like unstoppable. And when he went against Nick, even though Nick Diaz lost on paper, I was like, no one's ever done that like clown the clowner. You know, because Anderson Silva used to clown people. Then eventually it didn't work for Weidman, but like laying down on the ground, leaning against the fence, doing what he does, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So just having, I guess, the balls to do that. I was like, in my mind, Nick won that fight. No one really won. I feel like decisions like that, it should be like a no contest. I feel like there should be way more no contests in the UFC than decisions.
Yeah, they could definitely throw those out there more. Same thing with like 10-8 rounds. You know, I feel like those are underutilized too.
Yeah, I think the scoring system, they're scoring like it's a boxing match, and it's not boxing. MMA is not boxing.
Yep.
You know, but they still score like 10-8, 10-9 rounds, 10-8 rounds. It doesn't really make any sense. But I feel like there should be, you know, there's like a 10-9 must, you know, someone has to win the round. I feel like there's so many even rounds. They should allow like even rounds. Like they both got 8s. Like they both didn't do anything. Or they both perform extraordinary well that you know, round where both guys got the upper hand on the other, but at the end of the round, no one was really winning. Give them both 10s.
I feel like when there's a draw, though, I feel like there's three judges.
Right.
If they all three call it a draw, then what they should do is they should pick one fighter, because then you can't have a draw. You know what I mean? Like you just pick one fighter to give the fight to, and you know, like because the score kind of had it a draw, you just pick somebody, and then you're only gonna have 2-1. You know, no matter what.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or 3 people outright are going to pick someone, you know, like.
I just feel like I don't mind draws. I kind of like draws once in a while. Like I feel like the Holloway Volkanovski, like you can easily, I think Volkanovski beat Holloway twice so far. I think they can easily both be very like draws. You know? But but you can't have that in a championship fight. You can't have draws.
Exactly. So maybe let's say non-title fights, you can leave it a draw. Title fights, you go to the new system.
I guess, but I mean, who am I? But yeah, Nick Diaz versus Nick Diaz, not Nate. Nick Diaz against Robbie Lawler. I have Nick Diaz TKO 4th round. Yep. I'll even call it a round.
Yep.
I guess we go jump up to. I have a like weird itch on my leg. I guess jump up to the Volkanovski Brian Ortega. They actually had they coached for the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
I'll admit though, I have not seen an Ultimate Fighter since like season 3.
Wow.
Like I just don't watch it. It's just too much. There's too much fight. It's too much Ultimate Fighting. It's just too much. It's like way too many fighters. Right now, watching UFC is almost like watching football. Yeah. Or like there's just way too many teams. There's way too many. Every day there's something, which is great if you're that kind of fan. But for me, I tend to stick to like the main pay-per-view fights. I tend to follow those.
Yeah, I've watched every season. I'm in the opposite.
Yeah.
But I will say one thing. Now this new Dana White Contender Series. Now that. With that combined with the Ultimate Fighter, that's too much UFC for me.
So the Contender Series, what is that?
So now the UFC Contender Series, basically each episode they have 5 fights, and it's almost like the Ultimate Fighter, but they kind of just have a 1-fight deal. Like if they knock someone out, and then Dana White gives out contracts at the end of the show. He might give out 5 if everyone knocks everyone out and he's like feeling in a good mood. He might give out 0 if everyone goes to decision.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, like you have one shot, here you go, you have a chance.
Yeah.
There's no camp, anything. It's just you have this fight, impress me.
Exactly.
Go balls to wall, and you know.
And sometimes he keeps the people in that roster and they fight again like later in the season or the next season, and they have like 12 events and each one is 5 fights.
Something is wrong with that man. Like it's just
a lot of good fighters are coming out of it too, but they just, you know what, the thing is, the mental agony you go through of the Ultimate Fighter. Something about the Ultimate Fighter. You got all the people like that come out of there. You know,
everyone says is like it's the worst experience or the best, not the best, but like the most challenging, tough experience they've ever had. I mean, I wouldn't know, but But there's some proof in the pudding, like proof in that, like a lot of the people that went through the Ultimate Fighter did have done pretty well in the UFC.
Brandon Moreno, he was in the Latino Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, there is that. I forgot.
There's Brazilian too.
I'm just happy he plays Legos. I'm just I don't know why. I just find the fact that he plays with Legos and there's like he like collects Funko Pops and like all these things that you wouldn't think like a fighter would do. He's like, no, like I like playing video games.
Yeah.
I think Demetrius Johnson, Mighty Mouse, was like the first guy to like, I would say make it okay, but to like, oh yeah, like I can like do gaming and like other things other than just fighting all the time. I can like do fun stuff.
Yeah.
It's
actually crazy though when you think about it. You have TJ Dillashaw, you have Kamaru Usman, Rashad Evans, Mike Bisping, Diego Sanchez, like all these legends coming out of there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. But another thing, I just want to throw a curveball at you. Did you hear about Gable Stevenson that he shut down the UFC? Didn't even give him a meeting.
Yeah, Mr. Stevenson is Gable Stevenson. You're not watching this, but if you were, you're a genius. For a 21-year-old kid, not kid. I mean, he's giant, or a really large guy. He's like very smart. I'm happy he is finishing his college career in Minnesota. I don't know if he's still gonna wrestle, but as just like I guess you can say a role model, like finishing your college career, keeping your promises. Like, hey, you said I'm gonna go to this school, wrestle for this school. He's committed to that, and maybe win another championship, maybe an NCAA. And I think he signed or has a contract for WWE. But I don't think he had any discussion or talks with UFC at all, which is pretty smart. When it comes to money and notoriety and fame and entertainment, like if you look at like Dave Bautista, The Rock, and there's a few other people in the past, like Hulk Hogan or that went into movies eventually. There's Ken Shamrock did have a stint in the WWE many years ago. People forget that.
But he was in Pancrase before.
Yeah, but he was in Pancrase. But when it comes to stability, not stability, but money, honestly, this is to be frank, all of it is like you're gonna not ruin your health, but your life expectancy when you're in that kind of industry is gonna shorten a little bit because it just wear and tear, concussions, a lot of different types of injuries. There's no way about it. You're gonna beat up your body a lot. But when it comes to like give and take, like what are you giving, what are you taking, I think WWE is like 100%. Like if someone asks me, would you fight, go to UFC or go to WWE, and I'm solely thinking about making money, I'm going to WWE. Even though it's not fighting, it's entertainment, it's for fun. You're going to get beat up, but it's just for fun. You're going to play a character. You're going to do this sort of like physical naked opera kind of thing. But when it comes to money, WWE. But when it comes to like, being a badass, that UFC is
the place. I don't think I would go to the WWE.
Really?
Yeah, because their schedule is intense.
It is pretty intense.
It's not. It's like the UFC fighters, even a busy fighter champion. It's like a fraction of, of course, UFC fighters are training every day, but you're on the road.
But yeah, it's a travel.
You
That's
are
tough.
on the road, and you are out there on main stage like a lot. Like
twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week. Yeah.
Yeah. So you make more money, and you could be The Rock in 10 years. Like for him,
or 5.
Yeah, but
he's 21. That's what I mean. He's 21, so
you could be up there in movies and things like that, but I don't know. It's a little rough. You see a lot of stuff with wrestlers taking a lot of like mental damage. Just because the amount of events they do and things like that.
That is true. Like you're definitely getting, I think, might be actually getting hit more in in entertainment wrestling.
You don't have time to recover, you know, like because you're so on the road.
Yeah,
all the time.
the show has to go. Maybe I'm gonna contradict myself, but anyway, I'll stick to my guns.
Yeah, I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I'll stick to my guns, but yeah, I don't think you said he didn't even have a meeting with the UFC at all.
Yeah, he gave him a no meeting and just signed with WWE. It's I guess it's like one of those like development deals.
It's like an agreement.
Yeah,
but I believe they're letting him finish off his college. Get your degree, man. Like, why not? I mean, it's free for the most part. I mean, you got a scholarship. Yeah. But again, you forget, like, he's literally riding on cloud 9. He won the NCAAs, and then within the same year, he won the Olympics. The only other guy that can say that is Kyle Snyder. And he's the only person coming back after winning the Olympics and going back to college. Not going back, but continuing his college career. So, good for him. I mean, he has a lot. The fact that you can just say no, I think that's ballsy. Just that. Hey, want to talk to you? No, I'm good.
Yeah, that's true.
Later, another time.
Yeah.
But who do you think with Ortega and Volkanovski? They're both coaches. It was pretty much like just a one-sided, like one of the coaches just destroyed the other one. What team?
Well, no, it was actually a bloodbath in the beginning for Ortega, and they won like 4 straight. Wow. And then it kind of just flipped, and Volkanovski won the second half.
So 4-4, it was like half and half.
Into the playoffs, it was 50-50 into the finals. Yeah, so it kind of was dead even, but it's just Ortega was like out of the gates, like won all his matches, you know what I mean, up to the midpoint. I'm gonna go with Ortega on that fight because he's a Gracie guy, kind of have to,
I'm gonna go against that. Even though I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt. I'm actually gonna go rewind when Ortega fought. This is probably the first time I was legitimately disappointed in like the Gracies. Let's be honest, his fight against Holloway did not look good. I legit think they removed a handful of years off of Brian Ortega's life. When he fought against Holloway, it was not. I was like, you need to stop this fight. It was a third round. I'm like, this fight needs to stop. This is like not looking good. And you would think a Gracie, I don't know. Maybe I just assumed, hey, maybe they know this is not. He's not so much. Can he still defend himself, but can he win this fight? And to me, I was like, I don't think he could win this fight. Is winning this fight worth like severe brain trauma and concussions? But then again, this is why you're in it, to go balls to the wall and risk it. But that fight against Holloway, which Ortega lost, I was just mad. I was like, why would he do that to this guy? But maybe they had agreement, like, hey, you're never gonna throw in the towel.
That's the last fight that I was actually like genuinely like freaking out during the fight, like excited, because he was getting his ass beat the whole time, and I just felt bad. And then the 4th round, he takes his back.
Yes.
And he has his back, and that's when I was just like, holy shit, he's gonna fucking submit him. And he slipped off. He went too high on him, I think, and he like fell over the top.
Yeah, he got high over there and then just fell over his back.
Yeah, and that was really intense.
My memory's kind of off there, but yeah, I think so.
I think I almost choked my fiance. She was watching, and I just like grabbed her around her. But I didn't choke her, but she was in a choke position.
No, I know what you mean. You said fiance, so
yeah.
Is there anything else after that?
since the last episodes that we posted, I went on vacation. I went to Jamaica. I proposed to my now fiance. It was a very nice thing. It came together really fast because the trip came together really fast. But
nice.
Yeah, it was very nice. I couldn't have asked for it to go smoother.
Was she like? Did she know ahead of time?
No, it was a surprise.
Nice.
Yeah, so I had to like go through customs with like a ring and in a bag, and I was just, you're going into a foreign country, you don't know how things go over there, so it was nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that's. And of course she said yes. And then, was it just you two, or did you come with like family?
No, we went with it's like family, friends, like it's like a family that she's grown up with, and I've spent a lot of time with them, Thanksgiving, things like that. Cool. We went with them. with their family, you know, mother, father, sisters, couples, you know, so it was cool. It was like about 10 of us.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. They didn't know either until I was there and I told them. And then they were like keeping the secret.
That's nice. Yeah, that's I didn't do any of that when I got engaged. We were doing like I was doing laundry and she was cleaning the toilet. Okay. That's how I proposed.
Nice.
But I kind of flipped it. I kind of said, we don't need, but it's like, well, it was more like even the way I kind of viewed it as even the mundane, everyday, disgusting things, those are special too, because that's what we're gonna do way more than like jet set somewhere. I'm not saying that's not negating what you did. So
I got you.
She's like, okay, I get it. Okay, I understand. So like now every time I wash the toilet, I can think of our engagement. I'm like, there you go.
Nice. Well, I mean, it seemed to go good because you are now married. So
yeah.
So you went a good route.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. But so you said you have Ortega to win the Volkanovski fight.
Yes, I definitely take Ortega. I think his pretty much like his body type is gonna give Volkanovski some problems, and he's gotten better with his striking. You know, he knocked out Frankie Edgar, who's a technician boxer.
He did.
And I think Ortega's got his number. I think he's gonna submit him.
You think it's maybe about a round robin kind of thing, like Holloway beats Ortega, Ortega beats Volkanovski, Volkanovski beats Holloway kind of thing?
Yeah,
I think that.
It could. Yeah, it could. I know if he wins, they're definitely going to want to do Holloway. But it depends how the fight ends, because if it's tight and it's a decision, then Volkanovski's going to want the rematch. But he's not going to get the rematch. They always the UFC kind of like screws Volkanovski over. Like with Holloway, he had to fight him 3 times or something like that, right?
Like even with Stipe, like once he lost against Ngannou, like he's like nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I think
you would think they would give him a immediate rematch or something, but no, like he's like no longer in a conversation. Like this guy's like on paper literally the best heavyweight they've ever had, like record wise and everything, and like he loses one time against Ngannou, and then all of a sudden like he's not in the conversation anymore, which is like the most backwards thing.
Yeah, I think it's some backdoor stuff that we don't know,
obviously.
Like management, like things like that. Yeah, like Ngannou, but they're having problems with Ngannou too.
Yeah, like Dana White was not so happy that he won, but he wasn't unhappy that Ngannou won. And then like a week or two later is like, oh, I can't stand. Like Nate was like, oh, they're crazy. They just don't. That management is terrible. Not Ngannou, but his management is like what? Like it's this weird thing. Do you think it's a common thing that like you're very like a yes man up until you win the championship, or like management is like yes men, and then once you get the championship, they just flip on, like there's like a now we can like say no to everything and just sit on this championship for a bit.
It seems like it. And also, to be honest, if I was Ngannou, I'd just get new management, because there seems to already be some kind of ill will from his management to the UFC, because I don't know, I think we maybe mentioned it in other episodes, but I'll mention it again. Like his manager used to be a UFC employee who left on bad terms.
I don't think we mentioned that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, that's the whole story behind that. There's like a UFC employee that left and is like exposing Dana White all the time and all this stuff. And like,
listen, even Dana White's mom tried to expose him, and he's like, shut up. Like he just. So everyone's trying to expose Dana White, like.
Yeah, and then you know how we had that talk also about like fighters getting more money and how they deserve it, and I'm on the fighter's side about getting more money. But like, you got to remember, all these people online complaining about those are the same people that are streaming the fights for free. You know what I mean? So it's
exactly.
Like you're the reason
you gotta pay. You gotta pay the pay-per-view.
So anyone listening, stop streaming the fights for free and pay for them, because if you want to complain about the fighters not making enough money, you're part of the problem. You're the biggest part of the problem, actually, because the more they make, the more pieces of the pie go to everyone.
Yeah, it's like being a huge fan of movies but refusing to go to the theater.
Yep.
When going to the theater puts more money into the actors and everyone that's involved in the movie making part, that's how they get money at the back end, is that revenue.
Yeah.
They don't get as much, like with Scarlett Johansson. Did we talk about this?
No.
The Scarlett Johansson thing, where for Black Widow, actually we did talk about Black Widow, but terrible movie. Anyway, but good for her. She got paid, sort of. Where there's on her contract, it said that she was gonna get money off the back end when it comes to the theater revenue, and they didn't put it either. They put it in the theater and Disney Plus, and she's like, that's not the agreement. That takes money away from my out of my pocket. And then now she's suing. I believe she's suing Disney. Good luck, but
well, I mean, contracts are contracts. If they didn't put in there that they would be releasing it on a stream, I think she's got a case. And I think she's done her due diligence, and knows that there is a case there. They're just gonna settle, give her money, as they should, I think, because she's right. I think she's right. But I mean, I don't know. I never sided with the corporations on anything like that.
I tend to side 9 times out of 10, with the artist, with the creator, the worker bee, the worker ant, the person putting the creativity, the content out there, because without them, then they don't have anything. There's where they're providing nothing. You went off on a tangent there, but what's the next fight? Because you have the list.
Yeah, after Ortega and Volkanovski, it is Valentina Shevchenko versus Lauren Murphy.
That's not a discussion. Valentina.
Yeah,
Valentina's going to win that one. I mean, maybe some crazy thing happens where she just gets a hiccup and a brain fart and she messes up. But if Valentina is on firing all cylinders, she's not going to lose against anybody. Even her, in quotes, loss against, Amanda Nunes, split decision, flip a coin. So I think Valentina, as long as she's on point, no one's going to beat her. They know.
I think Valentina beat Amanda one of those times.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah. And then the other notable fights, and I guess we'll close out with the second one with another discussion. Curtis Blades versus Garzinio Rosenstrike.
Rosenstrike, yeah.
Yeah, and that one's going to be a nice barn burner. I think Curtis Blades gets knocked out.
Really?
He's got great wrestling. Yeah, but something about these, really powerful strikers, he can't, he gets hit, and he's just rendered useless,
Right. Rosenstrike had, this, he still does. He's a beast. I thought him against Ngannou would be a lot closer, and it was 15 seconds. And
I think that's the second loss to him, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And Rosenstrike called Ngannou out, and he's like, okay. Yeah. He knocked him out in something 15, 30 seconds, something really fast. But it wasn't kind of weird to say a sloppy knockout. It was not in any way a technical, he was not doing any straight punches. He was swinging big haymakers. But when he connects, you're gonna go to sleep 100%.
Yeah.
But that fight against Blades, I don't know if Blades ever. I'll say this: Rosenstrike will win if Blades tries to just strike with him. If Blades is just focused more on takedowns and just clinching and making it dirty, dirty boxing and takedown, I think Blades will win a very boring decision. But if it stays standing, I think Rosenstrike is gonna win.
Yeah, he's definitely got the tools to win for sure. I just think he has a problem with these power strikers. I think Rosenstrike he's gonna get it done for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now the last fight.
You mentioned it. I was like, don't talk about it until later.
Yeah. Okay, so we have our new, I guess the most successful OnlyFans fighter on the roster of the UFC, Jessica Andraj, and that's how you pronounce it, but it's Andrade if you spell it out.
Yeah.
And Cynthia Calvillo. She's great. Cynthia's amazing. She's out of I don't know what camp she's at now, but she was with Team Alpha Male.
Right.
Back in the day when I used to call into their podcast. Yeah, what was this? Shout out to the Stud Boy show. And that's what it was called.
Right. I've heard of that, but I never actually saw, because you mentioned it to me in the past about that call-in podcast, which is call-in.
Yeah, and it was Justin Buchholz and Stud Boy. And then they'd have TJ Dillashaw come on one week, and other people, Faber would come on, and it was just a real like off the cuff like comedy podcast. And they'd have people call in, and they'd be like, what's his name? Cyborg would call in,
really,
and Anderson Silva would call in, but it would be like someone doing the voice, and it was. Yeah,
like
it was
mimicking
hilarious.
like a parody of them.
Yeah, it was actually hilarious. And they didn't build up to much, They didn't do the podcast game. Right.
Yeah, they stopped. I mean, that's no longer a thing.
Yeah, but shout out to Subway Radio.
So who do you think? Well, you mentioned the whole OnlyFans thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't know she had an OnlyFans, Jessica Andraj. But you tell me the story, because when I heard of the story, my temptation was to like look it up, and I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to Google that. But what happened?
So fighters announced now that they're gonna do OnlyFans for like, like, I guess, premium content or whatever they call it. But in my mind, I'm like, when a fighter says that, it's just gonna be like really close to the line of nude pictures, but not really.
They're like risque.
Yeah,
more like risque.
Super. Yeah, even maybe like wet shirt kind of content. So I'm like, I'm not gonna check this out. Well, she went all the way. Yeah, she went all the way, and there's some pictures in there. I looked it up. The curiosity got the best of me.
So she used OnlyFans the way you should be using OnlyFans.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Except she wasn't doing any like hardcore content, like any kind of acts or anything like that. It was just more like pictures, like
nudity,
but like a step past Playboy type of style. You know what I mean? Like
Playboy's
still like a little elegant, like
tasteful, but an extra step ahead. Onward.
So that's what you could expect from Jessica Andrade. But then you have other fighters like Jessica Penne, Paige Van Zandt. They have their own OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't appeal to me, but
yeah, no, I mean, I've looked some up, and Paige Van Zandt did a little more than I expected. Then Jessica Penne.
So are you a fan of them? OnlyFans?
No,
are you OnlyFans fan?
I did not pay. No.
Oh, okay.
But somebody, I have friends, that will share. Sharing is caring. But Jessica Penne and other fighters, like, they won't go near that. They'll go to the line.
Yeah. But there's I guess there's a topic I want to talk about for another one, about the whole OnlyFans thing.
Yeah, before I forget to mention, she did say she paid off her car and her house with her OnlyFans money.
Good for her. So you do you.
She did it.
I'm not judging.
Yeah, she did it.
It's just, there's this thing about OnlyFans that people are like, oh, let me have an OnlyFans and just post like. Someone told me, hey, you should have an OnlyFans. I'm like, why? It's like, oh, you can post your artwork. I'm like, that's not what OnlyFans is for. Like, OnlyFans is not for, like, me posting artwork and, like, look at my artwork. It's like, no, like, it's for, I don't know. It just quickly became selling your personal pornography. Like, that's what it kind of just quickly evolved. Yeah. Or evolved or devolved to, however you want to look at it. But to each his own. But when it comes to those sort of stories, like, hey, so-and-so, this celebrity, that person has an OnlyFans, I'm just like, okay, but I'm not gonna, I don't know, I just don't feel the urge to like look it up for whatever reason. I don't know. It's like I want to view you as X, as like if you are a fighter in this case. I want to keep that not vision, but view, like, okay, you're a fighter. Or if someone does any other profession and they happen to have an OnlyFans, I'm like, let me not look that up, because I want to keep viewing you as this actor or athlete, or you fill in the blank. But I'm not dismissing. I'm not saying it's, teach his own. You can look it up all you want, but I guess I want to keep my view of a person like consistent, because then almost like Halle Berry. Like, I can't watch a Halle Berry movie. It ruins the experience for me, because every time I see a Halle Berry movie, I think, this is Halle Berry acting. I don't believe the character. I get she's too pretty. And I find her very attractive, but like, it's kind of one of those things. So if I see Jessica Andrade fighting, I don't want to view her in the OnlyFans context.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
I'm not saying I'm good or bad at it, but that's just me. And maybe I'm prude in that way, but
yeah, I mean, I just think, you know, it's different with a lot of people, especially the way they consume. You know, like some people do dabble in that world a little more. Some people don't realize a topic of discussion is like people interact with this kind of content daily. You know, they don't view it as an addiction. You know, that there is also that blurred line with the way we've grown up. You know, compared to like, let's say, a generation above us who had like magazines that were dad hid in the back of a, you know, box in the corner, and they had to go find it.
We're definitely that generation of like finding porn on TV, and it's like squiggles, and it's like you see something pop up.
And then we were like 13, and computers came along, and it was like 56K, and like the image would load like
it'll take like 15 minutes, and it'll.
Yeah, there were no videos, but then that all changed.
It's literally in your pocket right now, whenever you want.
Yep. Yeah.
It just was crazy.
Yeah, but I think that's a topic for a different episode.
Yeah, 100%. we went everywhere today, but from Anderson Silva, Tito Ortiz, old fighters fighting, Nick Diaz coming back, OnlyFans, Ortega versus Volkanovski.
Yeah, there was another random topic we went into.
Getting engaged. You got engaged.
Yeah, I got engaged. Yep.
Married. I'm still married. That's good. Yeah. And a bunch of other things. But anyway.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for checking us out for this UFC and fighting themed episode.
Before we continue, if you've gotten to this point in the video and you haven't liked it or subscribed, I'm mad at you. So please do that. So, you know, like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It helps get more views, X, Y, and Z. Yeah.
Oh, and also these like crypto contests that I'm doing on these episodes.
Oh yeah, that too.
Just make sure, you know, I'm gonna do another one right now since you made it to the end of the video. Whoever comments who they think is gonna win, Nick Diaz or Robbie Lawler, I'll send you 50 Dogecoin. Just reach out to us after you leave your comment, either social media or something like that, and you know, I'll get you set up to receive it right away. So for our sign off, my name is Jose Rodriguez, and my co-host
David Diokendo.
Thank you so much for checking us out. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, please. It helps the channel out very much, and we will see you on the next episode. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye bye.